Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are back with a brand new review of a brand new show. Okay, we got something to add to the roster. We are reviewing Family or Fiance, Season 2, Episode 1, Shea and Will. Cha. Y'all know I'm about to get into it as we get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter, a little bit of entertainment, and a little bit of shade. Child, let's jump right in, child. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. Listen, y'all, I really need you to like the video. So we're introduced to Shea and Will, right? So they tell us, they worked together. It was strictly business. But then one day they had this staff meeting and he told her he was attracted to her and they've been together ever since. So then he said, she's one of the most attractive women that I've ever met. Now, the reason why that statement did something to me is because this imbecile was married before. But we're going to get into that. So you mean to tell me more attractive than the woman and the mother of your children? Okay, sir. So anyway, so they're in the car, right? They're riding in the car and she's like, I saw a black cow. She's like, I thought all cows were black and white. And are, honey, what is wrong with you? He's like, yeah, it may have been a bull. I'm pretty sure it was a bull. Okay. I even went on the Googler and I'm like, are there black cows? Honey, maybe I thought I was dumb. But it's looking like, Shay, that was definitely a bull, right? So she said their biggest issue is her relationship with his family because they're closed off. So then she says, she hopes that she can get their blessing, but if they don't, they will still get married, but they won't be at the wedding. When I tell y'all he gave her a look, sis, I don't think he knows and I don't think he agrees. Okay. So they arrive at the house. Own's relationship coach, Tracy, she greets them. Okay, Tracy, honey, I see you. Got some black stylists in there styling the hair, getting the hair together and whatnot. Got a little zhuzh on it. Okay, girl, I love to see it. So they go in the house and they sit down with Tracy, right? She said, hi, how are you guys doing? You know how Tracy is. Tracy just be talking. And so then she said, so when did you first know you were attracted to this guy? She said, yeah, I knew he was attractive, but it was strictly business at first. And then when he flirted with me, I knew he was digging me, right? So Tracy said, well, what's the age difference? He said, 12, 13 years. Okay, so that's the first red flag, okay? Because I feel like you're trying to be on some old manipulation, mind control, younger than me bullshit, okay? She said, is that an issue? She said, no. He said, no, it's not an issue. He said, I was still technically married when we started dating and there are kids involved. What? And y'all know I don't like to cuss. What in the hell is technically married? You either married or you are not. Okay? There's no technicality about it. Child, whatever. So she said, no, but you weren't in the process of getting a divorce. Shay, you piping up and sounding crazy because you stuck beside him knowing he was not married, he was not divorced, he was still married. Girl, let's keep getting into this, honey. So you knowingly continued dating this woman's husband until he became your fiance. Okay, got it. She said, yeah, I had to find that out and he conveniently left that out. She said, it was okay, but I just would have liked to have known. Oh, it was okay. Okay, so you were okay with being a mistress, but contrary to what anyone thinks, if he's married and didn't tell you that he was married, then you're the mistress. I don't care how people try to spin it. If this man is married to someone and you start a relationship with him, you can choose to be the side piece. You know what? Pick your poison. Either the side piece or the mistress. Either way, you knew and you continued, right? I would not have continued with him because his character is questionable, honey. He will be doing the same thing to you when he's ready to trade you in. Girl, you better wake up. So Tracy said, why didn't you tell her that you think she would leave? He said, I don't really think she would have left, but she probably would have been embarrassed because, I'm a whole married man. Ha, ha, ha. I'm trying to figure out what's funny. Okay, I'm really trying to figure out what's funny because there's nothing funny about you having an entire wife and 2 kids at home and then you're starting an entirely different life with this woman. He said, yeah, the kids, they're 12 and 10 years old, right? So Tracy said, well, what's the relationship with the kids? She's like, oh, they tell me they love me. I tell them I love them. Child, I wish my son would. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not mature enough for all that. You bet not tell your father's mistress that you love her. Honey, you'll be over there with that mistress and your daddy. Child, I ain't got time to be playing with them. So she said, they tell me they love me, right? So Tracy said, do you want to have kids of your own? She's like, yeah, we want to have kids. He said, kid. Honey, y'all ain't on the same page with nothing at all. So Tracy was like, well, what's the rush to get married? You're young and he's been married before. He was still in a marriage. Honey, please let somebody know. So he said, for me, it's just like, when you know. Honey, it's some bull. Sounds like he says that to every woman. I'm not trusting nothing you putting down, honey. So the first time he met her family, he was like, it was great. I really love them. They instantly connected to me. But when she met his family, it was hell on wheels. So Tracy said, were you divorced yet? He said, yeah, I think so. I may have been. I'm not sure. So Tracy was like, well, how long were you in a relationship? And he was like, it was over a year. So then Shea looks at him and says, no, you weren't divorced yet. Okay. So he wasn't divorced. Even after you were together for an entire year or more, he still was not divorced. And you sitting next to him smiling, skinning and grinning. Girl, listen to me, lady. That man next to you is a liar. He probably got bored with his wife. You're cute and young, and he picked you up as either an upgrade or a replacement. What man doesn't know if he was divorced or not? Honey, you can marry him if you want to, but in a few years, you will be in the same position. And I'm telling you from experience, honey, you will be in the same position that she is in. So she's bringing her mom, her sister, and her best friend, and their concern is how his family treats her. As far as him, he's bringing his mom, his dad, and his brother, Big Jonathan and Jonathan Jr. So we got Jonathan and we got JJ, honey, dynamite. Tracy said, I'm going to give you guys some tasks. His task is to play Would You Rather with her family while making dinner. And her task is to play Tower of Truth with his family so they can connect. So Tracy said, so what if you don't get the blessing? He said, I will be really upset because they made me the man I am today. Oh, so they made you trifling. Okay. So then he said, I don't think they know the man I am today. Oh, so they're unaware of how trifling you are. Okay. I'm just trying to keep up, honey. Just trying to keep up. Moving forward. So then they start walking around the house, right? And they make a few mimosas. As soon as they sit down, the doorbell rings. So she's like, babe, go see who it is. He's like, no, let's go see together. Honey, don't be scared now. Honey, go to the door. Greet whomever it is. So they get to the door, right? And it's his family. They come in. They don't speak. Now, I don't know how y'all feel, but I was taught when you enter a room, you speak. And his parents are big and grown and old enough to know that you greet everyone in your presence when you walk into a room. And he said he was from Texas, so I know you know Southern hospitality and you were raised right, honey. You know to speak. So even if they don't like her, you still speak. And she should have said something to them as well. And also, it would have been nice for Will's lying behind to encourage some interaction, right? Child, he's a piece of a man. 9 times out of 10, the family does not receive you due to the spouse, okay? All of them set a negative tone right away. So it's not just on her, it's on them as well. So, she said, I need to go to the restroom. And then she leaves, right? So his mom is like, I was very disappointed. She was cold and she didn't even speak. Well, y'all didn't acknowledge her either. Although I wish someone would have made an effort because, how are y'all going to survive for 3 days and nobody wants to even speak? So he's showing them around and she goes to sit by the pool because she's like, honey, they don't like me no way. So let me go on over here. And then he hears another doorbell, right? It's her family. So she's like, babe, come on. I'm like, don't you see him talking to his people? Okay. All of these people are a problem. Shea, he's talking to his family. Since you were sitting by the pool and you don't want to talk to them or even speak to them, then you should have went to go get your family by your lonesome. Child, anyway. So she's like, she's like, come on, let's go get the family or whatever. By this time, his family is in the kitchen and you can hear them all screaming and, hey, and oh my God, and it's so good to see you. And they're having a full-on party, okay? His silly behind is out there with her family while his family is in the kitchen. So his mom was like, wow, you hear all that? The dad said, I'm not paying that any attention. She was like, well, I am. Well, honey, then y'all should have spoke, okay? And then we could have broken the ice beforehand. So they're having a full-on party, acting like they didn't even see his people. So then, but this is the part that got me. They came downstairs and walked right past them. Okay, so her mama don't have no home training either, because her mom should have went in to greet his family. You are about to allow your daughter to marry into this family. You need to get to know them. Child, again, it goes back to you enter a space and you speak. Also, Will is half raised, okay? His half raised behind should have said, Mom, Dad, let me take you to meet Shea's family. Not just continued on with them shucking and jiving and moving around in circles and dancing and trying to impress when your family is feeling some kind of way in the kitchen, feeling like you've accepted them, but they don't need to be treated the same. Like the problem is you, honey. Throw the whole man away. Child, I know her family knows how they treated her, so they definitely want no part of his family. But that's a part of the problem. We're going to have to get past that. So his dad said, do you see how he just walking with them? She said, yeah, just how do you do that? His mom was like, how do you just leave your family in here and go run off with them? Honey, he is an awful person. You guys raised an awful person. I'm just putting it out there. So they're in the kitchen fuming, and they said they're going to need a miracle to get through the weekend. Well, honey, yes, you are. All them meet and, in the common area. And Will lets them know, we're engaged and we want to allow you to voice your concern. He said, Jonathan, what is your concern? Child, the concern is none of y'all have any kind of sense. That's the concern. So Jonathan said, my concern is, it's up to you to make sure that we have a relationship with her. And I don't think that you're actually helping us to foster one, right? So the mom said, it's about her relationship with the kids. If there isn't one, how can you have one with the dad? See, this is my thing. She said she had a good relationship with the kids. So somebody lying, honey. So then the dad said, well, I haven't gotten to know her and I know nothing about her family, honey, and neither one of you spoke. So it's the Montagues versus the Capulets. Child, let's get into it with Romeo and Juliet. So her family's concerns are, her best friend said, Will standing up for her and helping her create a bond, right? Her sister said her relationship with the family. The mom said she doesn't think that his mom received her well. So then they tell them that she will be with his family playing a game and he will be with hers cooking. How you gonna be together playing a game when y'all don't even speak to each other? Child, okay, honey, set yourself off. In the next scene, they break off into groups. Her and her family go upstairs and her sister is like, they talking about getting to know you when they had the chance, and just because you've been married 42 years don't mean you know nothing about marriage. Honey, I don't know if you're married, but you're speaking like a true unmarried woman, okay? She didn't say she was the authority on marriage. She said she knows a thing or two about being married. And let me just say this. Marriage is very hard work. 42 years, that's nothing to sneeze at. Clearly, their son learned nothing by example. That's for sure. But I think she definitely knows what it takes to sustain a marriage, honey, because 42 years with the same person, that is no easy feat. So then her mom was like, I didn't know she was an expert in marriage or had a degree in marriageology. Lady, hush, honey, where's your husband? So then they break into groups, right? He's in there smoozing her family. Outside, she's playing this awkward game. So her first question is, how do you plan to get along with his kids? So she starts with her pageant answer. My plan is just to be the best stepmother, and if I'm ever struggling, his mom said, okay, have you ever heard his son say he don't like you? I was like, oh my God. Child, get a girl a minute, honey. She said, no, have you? She said, yes. Baby, let me tell y'all something. Kids tell the truth when they're with someone they trust, especially their grandmother. So I know for a fact that son, whichever one of them it was, probably definitely did tell their grandmother something. So then they ask him about more kids in the kitchen. And he's like, yeah, I want to have more, at least one or two. We already have a dog and that's like a child. I don't like him at all. I don't like him at all. I get bad vibes all over him. Now it's or two. He is a manipulator. He's a brown noser. His family better, child, listen. Her family better open their eyes. He is the kind of man that will win your family over and make you miserable behind closed doors. Oh, child, when I tell you I know. When I tell you I know that struggle, I do not trust him. I don't trust that beard he's sporting. I don't trust that hat and that hairline sitting behind the hat. Child, I don't trust none of it, honey. I don't trust none of it at all. So then they asked her, they said, if Will can't give you kids, is that a deal breaker? She's like, no, we'll just adopt. So then his brother says, so you'll be okay with not having kids of your own? She's like, well, we're planning for that. So I think he was trying to hint at the fact that maybe it's not going to be as easy as she thinks, but she already knows exactly what he's trying to spill before he spills it. So she's like, we're already planning for that, honey. I'm 2 steps ahead of you. So then they asked her, well, what are the deal breakers? She said faithfulness and not having a relationship with you guys. Okay, I see why the mom has an issue. I also see why you and Will are together, honey. It's clear that y'all both like to lie. It's clear faithfulness is not his strong suit. Just because a man says it's over does not mean it's over. He was still with his ex-wife. That's why he kept it a secret. Secondly, you didn't even speak to these people. And you said previously, if they don't give you their blessing, it's still going to happen and they will not be at the wedding. So how is that a deal breaker when you don't even care if they show up when you say your I do's? Girl, you like to lie, honey. So his mom said, just like with you, I would have your back at all times because you will be my daughter-in-law. Well, that's what my daughter-in-law was to me. And when Will brought you to the restaurant, we didn't even know you were coming. It seems like Will likes to omit the truth a lot, doesn't he? She's like, that's not true. Oh, honey, your man's a liar. I'm pretty sure it's definitely true. His mom would not just sit in your face and lie. So his mom said, yeah, I asked him not to bring you because he had not ended his relationship with his ex. When you walked in, I was shocked. She's like, what? She's just looking. Over in the kitchen, her mom said, I feel like they could be a little bit more receptive of Shea. He's like, yeah, I agree. Lord, please don't let me raise a man that will be this asinine. You set her up by lying, deceiving, and not tying up loose ends, honey. You're messy boots. No, she's not being received well because of you. You are the problem. So then outside, Shea said, I didn't know he was married. When I found out, I was hurt. His mom said, okay, so you knew that he was married. And at some point you found out, but you continued. Didn't that make you say, I need to rethink this? She was like, no, I didn't, I knew that he didn't want to be there. And I was there to help him get through it. Translation. I was fine with being the side chick and I stuck beside him and it paid off. Sure, whatever. So his mom says, so you're selfish. Honey, you took the words right out of my mouth. His mom says, so you're saying the marriage was over, but in my daughter-in-law's eyes, they were very much still married. Honey, and let me tell y'all something. I just got to insert this quick story time. This review might run a little long, but that's okay. Because this episode gave a lot. Okay, so, of course, I'm currently married. I'm going through a divorce, right? My husband, okay, because we're still technically married, as Will likes to say. My husband decided that he was going to start shopping around for my replacement as though I was a 2002 Ford Focus and he was going to trade me in for he left in 2017 for a 2017 model. So he started telling everyone that he was unhappy and, he didn't want to be married anymore. Mind you, we had just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. Beautiful anniversary. Had a beautiful dinner, a night out, something you see in the movies, spinning me all around and whatnot. Little did I know, he was over here trying to put his down payment on the new car instead of fixing what he has at home. Granted, we had a lot of problems. We had a lot of issues, mostly his infidelity and him being trash. Okay, he was a trash can. But he let the other person that he ran off into the sunset with, aka his Shea, my Will, ran off with her. And where are they now? Nowhere. Child, that's going to be the same outcome you get. She said, well, why do you think he didn't tell you? He had a whole wife at home. Shea said, but they weren't living together. His mom said, oh, okay. She said, no, they weren't living together. His mom said, oh, all right. Girl. She trying to put you up on game, honey. He definitely was living with her. Definitely was living with her. Your man is a fraud, okay? He saw you. He liked what he saw. He thought it was better and decided to leave his family. Point blank and the period, honey. I was married to a will. Y'all deserve each other. Just remember, you reap what you sow. And I'm going to put it to you like that. So they go inside for dinner. Shea starts asking about the game, and her family was so impressed. Oh my God, we had such a great time with Will. He was such a good person. He had such great answers. Oh, child, y'all so easily impressed, honey. So then Shea was like, they told me you didn't even tell them I was coming to dinner. It wasn't the right time. So then her best friend said, well, if you knew it wasn't a good time, why would you put her in that position? He said, I thought they would think instead of looking at my past, they would see my future. You didn't have a past. Your wife was very much the present. So you mean instead of looking at your wife, they will be looking at her replacement. Oh, okay. So then his mom said, my concern are my grandkids. Lil Will said, I don't want to be forced to like her if I don't. So did he say he didn't like her, or was he asking if it was okay if he didn't? Now, I don't know if she got that right or not, but, kids will voice their concerns when they feel a little bit uncomfortable. So Shea is like, well, those are just natural feelings. So his mom said, well, I just want to look out for my grandkids, honey, as you should. So while she's saying this, her best friend was like, well, Shea, didn't you say it was about you enforcing rules? And here go Will. Honey, this part tripped me out. Do y'all hear me? Tripped me all the way out. Will gonna say, yeah, my son is very smart and very manipulative. He knows how to play those cards, and he does it very well. Well, honey, I wonder where he learned that from. He got it honest. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And what man would take the side of his mom's replacement over their own child? Shea, make sure you add terrible parent to the list of qualities your future husband possesses. Child, let's keep going. So she's like, yeah, they were asking me what I had prior to him and where I got my money. And so her mom said, well, I didn't ask Will what he had. So his brother said, we were just trying to get to know her. He said, like the kid thing. I believe my brother has had a vasectomy. They may not be able to have kids. Shea, did you know that, honey? Because I wouldn't be shocked if you didn't. I don't think it was his brother's place to disclose that personal information like that. I don't think that was the proper time to say that. I understand what he was trying to do, but it really was not the right time. So her sister said, well, that don't affect nobody at this table. Y'all ain't laying down with her. Okay, well, sis, I got to agree with you. Okay, that has nothing to do with anybody at this table, honey. Whatever they do in their spare time is their own business. So Will pipes up and says, one thing about this woman right here, she saved my life. I was going down a dark road. So at the end of the day, I'm better because of her. All the narcissistic, lying, cheating husbands must read from the same script. Because I swear to y'all that my husband recited the exact same line to me. You saved me. I was going down a dark road. Child, goodbye. You should have been down a dark alley and met someone that would have been your demise, honey. Goodbye. So his mom was like, well, I heard the same thing about the ex-wife. Heard it all before, but your lies ain't working now. Shout out to Sunshine Anderson. Child, she was like, he built his wife up and put her on a pedestal and did the same thing when it came to her. Shea was like, his wife? Yes, sis, honey, you better check. She was like, well, his ex. So her mom said, well, the difference is he doesn't have to build up Shea. Mom, honey, pipe down. You're totally missing the mark. That is not what she is saying. She's saying that this is a pattern. You need to listen to what she's saying. She's like, well, I didn't say that he had to build her up and you're interrupting me. And she was like, please let me finish. She's like, I'm letting you know. And she's like, you ain't letting me know nothing. Child. So then Will's mom said, my name is Annie Knight and I'm not talking to you. Now, what her name has to do with anything, I was a little bit lost. But, I did understand what she was trying to say. She said, don't build a woman up beyond yourself because without her, you are still you. Don't let a woman dictate what kind of man you are. Baby, I see they say quiet, honey. Annie has spoken. Baby, they said, let me just hush. We don't want the smoke. So upstairs, Annie is 38 hot, okay? She telling Will's daddy that her family is trifling. They're bottom feeders. And his daddy was like, well, we can't dictate what he does. She said, they're flocking on my son and you can't see that? He said, well, when he leaves, who's he going to leave with? She was like, he going to leave with Shea. Child, Annie probably get easy me in the blues, honey. She is the queen and she will not let Shea run amok in the palace, honey. Do y'all hear me? So Will in the next room lying to Shea. That's why he wanted someone younger so he can manipulate her. He's trash. Basura. Child. I wish I could say trash in a few other different languages, but I don't know none. But if I could, I would, child. So anyway, it's day 2. They go to check in with Tracy. And so Shea said yesterday the questions she was asked, they were insulting. And Tracy said, did anything good come from it? So then Shea starts to cry. Tracy said, well, if she saw this side of you, maybe things would be better. No, I don't think so, honey. So then they start talking about Will's brother out in his snip, okay? And he's like, he doesn't even know the whole story. You know, I put some samples to the side and we've gone down the road to reversal. Boy, please, everything you say is a lie. Why did you get the vasectomy then? Honey, and show us the sample. Show me the Carfax. Child, I'm not buying nothing you selling. So Tracy said, well, why didn't you say that at the table? Why didn't you say it? He's like, everybody started yelling. Will, you could have interjected. There was a space in between him saying you got a vasectomy and her sister piping up and speaking her speech. So you could have very well said that, but you like to lie. So you and that little lying problem didn't want to say anything. Tracy said, well, what about you? He said, you want an honest answer? Are you capable of that, honey? Because we really don't know if you're capable of honesty. She said, yes. He said, I feel like it's more about the relationship with my parents that I have that's failing. So then Tracy said, great. Okay, yes, that's right. If you don't have a good relationship, they won't have a good relationship with her. She said, Shea can't have a relationship with your mom that you're not having. So then after they talk, Shea and his mom will go to do bridal flowers. So he goes to talk to his parents. Here he comes. He told them he loved them and he apologized. He said he wanted to focus on rebuilding his relationship with them and give them their flowers while they're still there to receive them. And that they don't know the Will that they know the Will that left 17 years ago, but they don't know the Will that he is now. And then he starts to cry. When I tell you they were not moved in the slightest, baby, they were sitting so stone-faced. I said, okay. It's almost like they didn't heard that spiel before, honey. They been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. They know their son. They know he crying and lying. That's why they just sitting there looking at him. Child, this is a mess. So his mom said, yeah, it's going to take me a minute. He said, y'all don't know, but I had a lawsuit against my business. And Shea had 6 figures in her bank account, and she cleared it out for me. Shea needs some guidance. What makes you think it's okay to clear out your savings for this lying man? Child, I won't even clear out a drawer for you. Okay, honey, I won't even clear out space in the closet. You think I'm about to clear out my entire savings for a man that was still technically married when you met him, that has 2 kids, that was not divorced when you first introduced him, when he first introduced you to his family, that cannot stand you? Child, okay. It's not making no sense, honey. It's like a Tyler Perry production. I'm so confused as to what's happening. So he said, I'm not saying that's the reason I'm with her, but that tied me to her in a way that it would never tie me to anyone else in the world. Of course, it tied you to her purse strings. Honey, her stupidity drew you forward. Child, it drew you in. He said, every day God lets me know that Shea is the one. Boy, please be quiet. His dad said, well, we didn't know that. Dad, honey, just let it be. His mom said, I was thinking more of my daughter-in-law because I wanted things the way that they were, but it's not fair to Will. Okay. So then they get to the flower shop and the 2 of them start making these bouquets and they seem to be getting along. So Shea looks at her and apologizes and tells her, she wants to get to know her. So his mom said, I decided to let the past be the past. I'm not going to bring it up anymore. She said, I feel like I'm being sincere about getting to know you. And then she got more emotional and she cried. And I'm like, she getting more emotional with Shea than she is with her own son. Honey, I feel like she crying for that ex-daughter-in-law, honey. These tears are for that ex. I'm sorry. I don't care what his mom says. She will always secretly compare Shea to his ex-wife and will never fully accept this union. There will always be a bit of doubt because of how it started. The foundation was rocky. It was some foolery all up and through. And that mama ain't buying it. Y'all ain't fooling her. But for the sake of this show and for her son and for now, she gonna go along with it. So then they sit down to dinner. And Will tells the table that he's going to make the effort to get the family together. Jonathan Jr. apologizes for putting his brother's business out there. And now it's day 3. Shea sees her mom in the kitchen, right? Because she's walking past. And everybody's in there. She says good morning. She's like, oh, you look bright. But then they pan over to his family. And honey, they dressed in all black like it's a funeral. I said, this is a mess, baby. On will give you some Friday and Saturday night entertainment if they don't do nothing else. So then they go to meet with Tracy one last time, and she's wearing all black as well. And she asked how they were and how the task went. He said, I didn't really realize what was going on until something you said yesterday, and that I had dropped the ball. And I was thinking to myself, what did she say yesterday? If I remember correctly, you realized that you sucked as far as your relationship with your family on your own. But y'all go off, honey. They're going to give OWNs, psychiatrists and relationship and advice experts the nod and the smile and the recognition they deserve. Child. So he told them, both Shea and Tracy, that he apologized, and the family was very receptive. So Tracy said, so now that you've built the bridge of trust, now they can trust Shea. So Shea said, she did well with his mom, and she really opened up. And so Shea started to get emotional, and she was like, these are happy tears. And I guess she feels like she's being accepted. But let me tell you something, Shea, his mama ain't fully accepting you, honey. I just want you to be clear on that. Okay? Because I had a mother-in-law that wasn't too fond of me. Because, I'm going to speak my speech if I don't do nothing else. And sometimes she would accept me, on good days. And on other days, it was an uphill battle. So I just feel like I just want you to keep your eyes peeled, because it's not going to always be this way. And I hope you do not expect that in 3 days, she's completely changed her thought process when it comes to you. I don't want you to be that naive like you were when you emptied out that bank account. Okay. So Tracy said, well, what do you think will happen in the blessing ceremony? Here he go. Y'all have a reverend here. Slow down, low down, honey. You trying to rush it before your mom changes her mind and talks to that ex? Honey, you ain't fooling me. So then at the blessing ceremony, everyone gave their blessing. My thing is this, honey. I would not have blessed anything that had to do with Will and Shea. This foundation is some foolery, okay? Will is a liar and a deceptive human being. I would not entrust my family, my friend, my daughter, my cousin, my dog to Will. Because the way that it started is going to be the premise of your relationship. I don't know what kind of mama this is that she has, but quite frankly, his mom shouldn't have been the one with the most smoke. It should have been her mom, trying to figure out, why would you not let my daughter know that you were married and had kids and an entire family before you pursued her? So to me, I'm just going to say in closing, honey, I looked on the Instagram and they still together. I wish y'all the best, but don't be surprised if you see them in divorce court with Judge Lynn Toller a little bit later. Child, y'all comment down below, because that is the end of the episode. Comment, like, subscribe to my channel. Get down in the comments and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode if you watched it. Child, as far as I'm concerned, Will is for the streets, but honey, he ain't my man. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.